Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing very well today, and welcome to a new video in my affordable guitar mini series. Now today we are looking at this beauty. What exactly is it? Well, this is the brand new Elite model from Firefly. Right, now it's been a few years since I've had a Firefly guitar on this channel, but I've always been a fan simply because they're so affordable, reasonably well built. So if you always wanted a guitar of a certain style, you could head over to Firefly, grab one for a couple $100, and you get something that plays well. And yeah, you can just expand your collection without spending thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's always been a great Firefly thing, and this guitar is no exception. It's in a beautiful walnut finish. Mahogany body, mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard. They've always had bone nuts, which is really nice. There you can see the Elite moniker and the headstock. Some really nice binding on there as well. Really beautiful stuff. Now, there's always been a few weaknesses. We'll talk about those and see if they're still present in this brand new Elite model. Let's jump in and find out what this guitar is all about. Now, the specs on Firefly guitars have always been, well, a little sparse. It's kind of like 5 bullet points and we're out. So here are the bullet points associated with this model. Mahogany body, as I mentioned, walnut finish. There it is, rosewood fingerboard. Mahogany neck. Really nice, beautiful joint there, I've got to say. There's the neck. Rosewood fingerboard. And of course, a bone nut. All the Fireflies have always had bone nuts, which is nice. And here's a look at the headstock. Really beautiful binding on it. Gold hardware. And Alnico pickups. So those are like the 5 bullet points, but there's one more. Stainless steel frets. Yes, on a Firefly. We'll talk about those in a second. Very interesting. So those are the quick bullet points. Now there's always a few things I like to check on budget guitars, and in this case, Firefly guitars specifically. Number 1, are the frets gritty? Now, every single Firefly guitar I've ever played has rough frets. Now you can just play them in by using vibrato, by doing bends. It'll smooth those frets out, or you can just pull the strings off, polish up your frets, replace the strings because they're probably not the highest quality, and problem solved. So it's not the end of the world, but it is a difference between, you know, budget guitars and mid-level and above. So I want to check these ones out specifically because they're stainless steel, and stainless steel is known for being very slinky and very smooth, and of course will last a lifetime. So really interesting that we have some beautiful fret ends on there too, though, I must say. Stainless steel frets, so that's a big difference. Number 2, the pickups. Now these are Alnico pickups, but every Firefly I've played up to this point, and like I said, it's been a couple years, have had microphonic pickups. So they sound great clean, they sound great with some breakup, some light overdrive, but if you go beyond that, they start to squeal. They literally become microphones and they can pick up your voice when you talk into them. So we're gonna test that out to see if they've improved over the last couple years, and we'll take a look in the cavities and just see what the electronics are like. So those kind of 3 areas. And of course, then the final one is, are there any flaws in the finish? Are there any flaws in the binding? That's been a common thing with Firefly guitars. Now, when you pay a couple $100 and you get a great playing instrument that sounds good, I'm willing to definitely overlook a few things in the finish, and I always have been. So we'll see about this guitar too. So let's dive in and get into the details. All right, you guys, good news first. The finish on this guitar, actually the fit and finish on this guitar, is definitely better than the old Fireflies. There's like no discolorations in the finish that I can see. Really beautiful and evenly applied. The binding, you know, on some of the old Fireflies, there would just be imperfections across the entire binding. This one, very clean. Really nice. And they did some really interesting things with the binding too. So we do get a belly scoop on obviously a Les Paul style guitar, and check out what they did with the binding, because, you know, sometimes if you put in a belly scoop, the company will just be like, well, we can't do binding there. So, you know, no double binding, but the double binding is so nice. So what the Firefly did is they just terminated it. So hopefully the camera will grab that. So you can see I've removed the cavity covers too. So they terminate the binding there, do the belly scoop, and pickup on the binding. So yeah, really interesting way to do it. And here's what it looks like kind of from a distance. You can see the termination there, the belly scoop, and then it picks up. Now the other spot they did it is on this beautiful neck joint. There's the termination. They do the swoop and contour, and they pick it up there. So really interesting. So across the top side, obviously, it's all there, and of course it terminates there. I'll show you that joint as well, and then onto the neck. So yeah, the body itself, wonderful. Great finish on this. The neck, the binding, all seems better than, you know, a few years ago. Now as for the internals, here's a little look inside. So, you know, basic budget wiring for sure, but check it out. Full-size pots in there. So yes, of course they're using, you know, budget, there's a better shot. Of course they're using like, you know, budget parts, but you get full-size pots. Everything's really clean. There is no shielding there, and there is no shielding on the cavity covers back. There's usually at least some foil there. Nothing on either of them on the Firefly. So that might be a little area that you could upgrade, especially if you're getting some noise in there. But nice to see the full-size pots. I mean, the cavity cover was fit so nice and tight. It took me a while to get it off just because it was routed perfectly, completely flush and tight, even without the screws on there. You know, it's nice to see such great routing and tight fitment on a budget guitar. Now, onto those aforementioned stainless steel frets. It's a bit of a mixed bag here. Now, the good news is they're level. There's no, you know, choking out. There's no high and low frets. It plays very, very nice. Secondly, the fret ends are polished. They're rounded. They are incredibly smooth. Like, I can't believe this is, I think, 220 bucks. It's insane. The fret ends and how, you know, the guitar feels in your hand in terms of like your thumb and your hand interacting with those fret ends. Beautiful. Really, really nice. Super impressed with that. Now, as for the frets themselves, are they gritty? Well, it's a Firefly, so you bet they are. It doesn't matter if they're stainless steel or not. I'll try to pick it up just with my lav mic here. Really gritty. Now, as I mentioned, that's not the end of the world. You can just take your strings off, polish them all up, put your strings on, and off you go, or you can just play them in. All right, you guys, let's start off with some clean tones first. I'm going to be playing in the neck pickup. Here we go. Both pickups on together. And of course, bridge pickup. You can hear that bridge pickup is on the edge of breakup if I really dig into it here. All right, you guys, now let's test out this bridge humbucker. As usual, I'm using the Rev Generator 120, which means I've got the green channel, blue channel, and red channel. So we'll go in that order and just see what that bridge pickup sounds like. Okay, so now let's just listen to the noise of the pickup without the gate. So definitely a buzz and hum that's, you know, apparent all the way through the guitar, even on the clean tones. So that's why I say I think maybe a little extra shielding might help. All right, now that I've heard a few tones through the Firefly, I think my opinion is pretty much the same. They're noisy, they're buzzy, but as I said, there's no shielding on this guitar. That will improve if you add some shielding. But if you just want to play clean, the neck pickup's very warm. The bridge pickup has a nice punch to it, so it's great for overdrive. So if you just want to keep it clean and overdrive, don't do a thing to this. Pay your, you know, just over 200 bucks and enjoy this guitar because it plays really well. And I think it sounds, well, more than serviceable. Now, for those who want to be able to play clean, overdrive, and with a lot of distortion, there's a couple ways to achieve that. Number one, just buy a gate pedal. Number two, because these are quite noisy pickups, just do a swap. Like, you're only into this guitar for just over 200 bucks. Buy yourself your preferred set of pickups, put it in, and never look back. So that's one way to really take, you know, a Firefly up to the next level. But in terms of like how the tones sound, they sound great. Nice and balanced between the strings. Yeah, nothing standing out as weird or unusual. It just plays and sounds really nice. So yeah, overall, I think the pickups probably remain the same. I did try talking through them and they weren't nearly as microphonic as the early models where I could like literally hear the words I was saying coming through the pickup. I tried talking a bit through them using very high gain and I could hear like a whisper of my voice. So I think they've probably, you know, wax potted these a little bit better. But again, if you're going to use high gain, I would recommend, yeah, a pickup swap or for sure using a gate. So here are my final thoughts on this Firefly. Now, this exact model is the FFSP, and it is currently selling for $229 right now. So that being said, this is an amazing guitar for that price. Like for $229, this is a wonderful instrument. So if you're just starting out your guitar journey, don't hesitate to pick up a guitar from Firefly like this. This is, yeah, the FFSP Elite. Really nice guitar. And the weaknesses or the areas that I would like to see changed on it, for once are not aesthetic. And, you know, I think they've really cleaned up almost all the aspects of this guitar. So I don't think you can go wrong with it. Or, you know, if you're just starting out, yeah, wonderful guitar. If you spent all your money on a really nice Strat, but you wish you had something else in your collection, yeah, like I said before, that's where Firefly really shines. And yeah, some of the old things are still there, like the gritty frets, and the pickups are kind of weak. Those are kind of like the two main areas, and along with the shielding. So those are kind of the areas that I would upgrade if, you know, I was to play on this long term. But if you're just playing clean, you don't really run into those issues too much, or just really light overdrive. So yeah, anyway, love this guitar. As I said, I'll link to it in the video description below. And yeah, they've cleaned up a lot of the aesthetic things, and some of the long-term things are easy to fix. But yeah, really fun to play, beautiful guitar. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Other than that, have yourself a great day. Take care.